All right, just wanted to walk you through a few of the factoring problems that might be a little more complicated than what you did yesterday, just to give you an idea before you head into that worksheet and what you might see on a quiz or a test. So this first one has a number in front of x squared. You'll notice that that can be divided evenly into both of these, and so just like we did last chapter, what we'd want to do is pull that number out and write what's left over. And so if we do that, we should end up with x squared plus 5x minus 14 in here. Then what you want to do is try to factor that just like we did last chapter as well. So you're trying to find two numbers that multiply to equal negative 14 and add to equal 5. And so you think about it for a little bit, and eventually you'd come up with 7 and negative 2. 7 times negative 2 is negative 14. 7 plus negative 2 is 5. Now here's the deal, just like yesterday, we've got things multiplying to equal 0. So either this first thing will make it 0, either this will make it 0, or that will make it 0. Now, you can see that x plus 7, that has a chance of equaling 0. That's if x equals negative 7. You can also see that x minus 2 would have a chance of equaling 0. That's when x equals positive 2. So if I put 2 in here, 2 minus 2 would be 0. That would 0 everything out. Negative 7 plus 7 would be 0. That would 0 everything out. But this 3 is just 3. There is no chance that 3 will just automatically turn into 0. It doesn't matter what you put in for x here and here, that's going to always be 3. So this 3 just kind of hangs out. It doesn't solve, it doesn't give us another solution. It's not something we need to list in our final answer. We only use the things that have the x's in them. So that's one thing that you'll have to just kind of be aware of as you do this. If you have a number out here, no big deal. It's just a number. Unless it has an x with it, we ignore it. Okay? Another thing to kind of keep in mind is if you're doing factoring by completing the square, you'll do it just like we did last chapter. So what times itself gives us 16x squared? That'd be 4x and 4x. What times itself equals 25? That'd be 5 and 5. We've got 1 plus, 1 minus. Now, these are the two things that multiply equals 0. So either this equals 0 or this equals 0. But now it's more than just up here. Like here it was just a simple minus 7 and we got negative 7. But, well, there's a little more to this. Now not a lot more, but just to kind of make you aware, you're going to want to subtract 5 and get 4x equals negative 5, and then you're going to divide by 4. So it's okay for us to get these fractions or decimals for answers as well. And that's the thing that makes this one just a little different. So none of these are really that hard. It's just that there's a little wrinkle to each one that I want to make you aware of. Okay? This next one, we've got two terms subtracting. So at first you'd think about completing the square. But when you think about what times itself equals 2x squared, you're going to draw a blank. We don't know offhand what times itself equals 2. And then we're also kind of stuck back here. Now what you want to notice in this is that you could divide evenly by 2, and both of those have an x. So rather than do it as a difference of squares, we want to just pull that 2x out and write what's left over after we do that. So 2x comes out. If I went 2x times x, I'd get 2x squared. If I did 2x times negative 8, I would get negative 16x. So it all kind of checks out. So here's the deal. I still have two things multiplying here to equal 0. So either 2x equals 0 or x minus 8 equals 0. And if I divide by 2, I'll get x equals 0, or if I add 8, x equals 8. So those are my two answers. I can put either of them back up in here. 0 squared is 0. That zeroes this out. 16 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is still 0. So this one is one of the ones that gets missed most often. It's just you're so in the zone of trying to break it into this that you forget that you could even do that type of idea. So just kind of be aware. If you get stuck, maybe think back to, oh, can I pull something out? Okay. The last thing to just make you aware of is this one, and while it looks kind of normal, the thing you got to take note of is that you're not equal to 0, and that's a big key. For any of this to work, we have to equal 0. So the first thing you do is just get rid of this number. Bring it over here. we'll have x squared plus 11x plus 10 equals 0. And then you can do the problem like normal. So what two numbers multiply to equal 10 and add to equal 11? That would be 10 and 1. And so either x plus 10 equals 0 or x plus 1 equals 0. And that would give us negative 10 or negative 1. Okay. So again, hopefully that's not too crazy, but as you do the worksheet today, that'll help you kind of navigate that. And if you see these on the quiz on Friday, you'll be prepared.